morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the second topic, the metal ligand bonding in transition metal complexes. So before going to discuss this topic, we should revise some knowledge about the valence bond theory. To explain the nature of metal complexes, in 1935, Pauling and Slater developed the theory which is called as valence bond theory. So the main assumptions of this valence bond theory we have discussed in second year, but I will repeat this one. So the valence bond theory depends upon the metal orbitals only. The orbitals which are present on the metal ion are to be taken into consideration, and the orbitals which are available on the ligand molecules are not to be considered. Means the electrons present only in the metal orbitals are considered, while the electrons which are present in the ligand molecules are not to be considered. Therefore, what will happen, that is the first limitations of the valence bond theory, that it gives the more importance to the metal orbitals than the ligand orbitals. The second thing, that is we are going to explain the limitations of this valence bond theory. That is your first point of this topic, that is limitation of the valence bond theory. That is the number one. The only we consider the orbitals which are present on the metal orbitals, not on the ligand orbitals. The next limitation of this valence bond theory is that it does not explain the relative energies of different structure. It does not explain the color observed for the complex ion, and it cannot explain the geometry of the same central metal ion in different types of the ligand molecules. For example, the copper tetraamine complexes and copper tetrahedral complexes. The central metal ion is copper, but in one is ammonia and one is water as ligand molecule. Therefore, they have the two types of the geometries, that is, one is square planar and another is the tetrahedral. So the valence bond theory does not explain why the same metal ion in the same oxidation state have the different geometries when they are connected or they are bonded with the different ligand molecules. Next point of the limitation is that it does not take into account when the orbitals of the ligand molecule approaches to the metal ion, the d orbitals will get separated into two different sets. That effect is not considered in the valence bond theory. Then for the same metal ion, the number of unpaired electrons is different in the same oxidation state. Is, for example, the Hund's rule is not so obeyed, while in others it is disturbed. So it cannot be explained by the valence bond theory. Therefore, due to the incorrect predictability of the unpaired electrons, the magnetic properties, the spectra, and the color of the metal complexes is not to be explained very correctly. And next, it does not gives the explanation for inner orbital complex and the outer orbital complex, that is sp3d and dsp3. There is difference, inner orbital and outer orbital complexes. And also this theory does not explain why the certain complexes will displace the ligand molecules very easily and why the other complexes does not displaces the ligand molecules easily. That is, one is labile complex where displacement is easy, and where the displacement is difficult, they are called as the inner complex. So these are the some limitations of this valence bond theory. So tomorrow we will get the crystal field theory. Thank you.